So Lil Guardsman is a game by Hilltop Studios, published by VersusEvil and Tinybuild. It was released in January 2024 and follows the journey of Lil, a 12-year-old girl who takes on her father's job as a guardsman, deciding who to allow or deny entry into the city of Sprawl. Over the course of the game, you follow events taking place in Sprawl, primarily focused on the marriage of the kingdom's princess, Desdemona. Most people probably remember the Papers, Please craze from a couple years ago, and you wouldn't be wrong in comparing Lil Guardsman to it. As far as the similarities go though, the theme of choosing who to let in and who to deny is about it. The game has a total of 12 chapters with the plot progressing through each of them. Though most of them take place inside the same guard shed, many of them manage to feel wholly different due to changes in some of the game mechanics and plot. Without getting into spoilers, if you think this game is just about letting people into the city, you're definitely wrong. That being said, the primary gameplay does pretty much stay the same, and after a while, you get quite good at figuring out if something's not right. Which is the case for pretty much anybody passing through. So this game is really more of solving unique puzzles in form of people wanting to be let in, rather than a more random challenge where you're trying to find mistakes in documents like Papers, Please, for example. Where I think Lil Guardsman gets a little bit tedious is with its ample amounts of exposition, and what sometimes feels like unnecessary dialogue. Obviously, since the main game mechanic revolves around figuring out who's lying, etc., the game is going to have loads of dialogue. It is also set in a high fantasy setting, which is not exactly known for being easy and brief to understand. All things considered, and even when taking these things into account, however, especially some of the scenes in between gameplay felt way too long, and I sometimes found myself quite frustrated and just wanting to get to start the next shift. What should also be said is that though many points in the game emphasize how a choice you have made has an effect on the world around you, quite many of the decisions are things like cosmetic choices or don't really affect the story all that much, often just resulting in you getting different achievements. Obviously though, it is an indie game, so I'm not really bashing them for this, it just feels like something worth pointing out. In general, I did find the writing pretty good, and liked how the more mature topics and jokes contrasted with the otherwise bright, almost childlike art style of the game. The story itself is also not bad. Maybe somewhat predictable, but as is often the case, I think in this case it's just a result of good writing that foreshadows what's about to come. Overall, it took me about 8 hours to finish a single playthrough, and as a result of that playthrough, and playing it a little bit afterwards, I would give this game a 3 out of 5. I think it's a good game, and manages to do some really fun things that kind of turn the high fantasy setting on its head, while also managing to bring up real-life topics and discussions. It is also clearly a product of much labor and love, and is very polished. However, the copious amounts of exposition occasionally make it feel like a chore, which also eats away some of the replayability, which is not so ideal for a game all about making different decisions. Make sure to subscribe for more reviews of games I play.